Gaming is often compared to sports. Not because of the exercise your fingers have to perform while playing, but because of the competition, because of the mentality, and nowadays also the effort and preparation that go into it. Pros that train for hours every day, sponsors that make this possible, and even coaches who analyze mistakes and try to come up with solutions. But no matter in which category you want to improve, is it sports, gaming or some other kind of competition, your schedule should consist of 3 main sections. It doesn't matter if you want to become pro or just improve enough to beat your lifelong rival. If you follow these steps, you will definitely see improvement. I'm C5 from the Beefy Smash Dudes. Let's get started. The first and by far most important section is practice and knowing how to practice. Doing what you want to learn as much as possible is just the most important part of improving. I know it's common knowledge, but it's important. Every athlete knows it, every pro gamer knows it, and you know it too. The more Smash you play, the better you will become. It's that simple. The second section is knowledge. This is comparable to the technique in a certain sport. You cannot invent the whole sport yourself. You first have to learn what others have found out over many years, and if you have mastered that, you can try to innovate yourself or try to find your own style and improve even more. Section 3 is observation, watching others play and watching yourself play. This too is relevant in gaming just as much as it is in sports. Now let's look into each section and find out what exactly this means for Smash. Playing a lot of Smash is easy. Just turn on the console and you are ready to go. But we want to try using the time spent on Smash as effective as possible to improve our skill. Fortunately, Smash 4 offers a pretty good online mode. You can play against an endless stream of new opponents with just a few button presses. And the For Glory mode even gives you the chance to play in a fairly balanced and competitive environment. But playing a lot of For Glory has 2 disadvantages. First, the connection can sometimes be bad. Input delay is a big problem when it comes to playing fighting games online. And even if the connection to your opponent is perfect, it will never be as good as playing offline. Second, finding opponents that can really challenge you is a rarity. Especially if you take learning Smash more serious, you will quickly run out of For Glory players that can take you on. Regardless, online play can still be a huge help to improve. You will get used to small input delay and can gain tons of experience from playing online, as well as a kind of routine when it comes to the flow of a match. My advice is that you try to find players that are on your skill level and have a fairly good connection. Add them to your friend list and make them your sparring partners. Try to always find new and better opponents, preferably ones that play characters you don't have a lot of experience against. You can either add good players you meet in For Glory, but an even better method is to find them on the internet. There are Smash forums for almost every region in the world, and if you find motivated players in your area, chances are much higher that the connection will check out. There are also online ladders and tournaments held pretty much all the time. I will leave all the important links and more information for you in the description. But believe me, playing offline is much more important than playing online. If you have friends that like to play Smash as much as you do, perfect. Meet up as often as you can and just train and train as much as possible. If you don't, you can again go on the internet, find players in your region and meet up with them. The good thing with free play is that you can try out stuff. You can experiment or learn new characters without big consequences. Learning many different characters can also help you improve a lot. Don't get stuck with your Sheik or Diddy Kong. You will see just how much you can learn about how Smash really works if you try winning with worse characters too, instead of only abusing the really broken stuff. Then, when you switch back to a better character or your main, you might see the game from a different angle and find more options and openings in your gameplay. The same also works in reverse. Learn the good characters or characters you have problems against to find their weaknesses. Sometimes characters just seem unapproachable or simply overpowered, but when you get to know the other side and play them yourself, their weaknesses become clear very fast. Now, the probably most important part of the practice section is playing tournaments. First of all, here you get the chance to play against the really good players and find your limits. The better your opponents are, the more you will learn from playing them. I have experienced that many times myself. Also, especially at offline tournaments, you can play against many different opponents, not only in the bracket, but also in free plays or money matches. Every player has his own slightly different style of playing Smash, and the more different people you play against, the faster you learn to adapt to their style and habits. Lastly, playing under pressure is completely different from just playing for fun. The adrenaline, the hype, your heart pounding harder than ever before, all of that are things that will completely wreck your gameplay if you are not used to it. You need to play many tournaments in order to learn how to deal with pressure and succeed when it counts. If you want to train playing under pressure, you can do so by simply putting something on the line, like a bit of money or anything else when playing against your friends. Make serious best of 3 or best of 5 sets, or play a small bracket every now and then. But the opportunity of going to a real tournament should never be missed if you have the time and the resources for it. Besides the good training, it is also an amazingly fun experience. The second section, knowledge, is a tiny bit less important than pure practice and should take up much less time than the first section, but is still a big factor in winning matches. There are millions of people playing this game and new things and techniques are discovered all the time. Some people post them online and others create pages whose sole purpose it is to provide that information. Knowing about some of the more important stuff can be the key to victory in Smash. First, you should know the general stuff that is important for every character. Rage, DI, teching, B-reversal, etc. All these small things can make a big difference if you know how they work and how to use them. Then, of course, there are character-specific things, combos, certain follow-ups and tricks you can do with them. Now, knowing everything about every character is a bit unrealistic and not necessary. But learning as much as possible about the characters you play the most is essential to improve. Let's take Bowser as an example. A few patches ago, his up throw got buffed so much that he now has a legitimate and extremely dangerous hoo-ha combo. Any Bowser player that knows and uses this is a much bigger threat than one who doesn't. Another example would be Fox's short up air. If you perform the up air immediately after jumping and don't fast fall it, Fox will auto-cancel it and land without lag. This is important and can help Fox players a lot. Find out what works and what doesn't and try to change and improve your playstyle accordingly. After every grab or aerial, you should know the optimal follow-up. Before you know that, practicing tech skill or really anything is just less important. The biggest source to stay up to date with this stuff is smashboards.com, and every Smash player should know that. Also, watching videos like the one you are seeing right now can help you improve. There are tons of tutorials and guides going around on YouTube and Reddit. Find some good channels and watch through the videos that interest you. I will post our favorites in the description too. The third section, Observation, is almost self-explanatory. From watching the best gamers or athletes, you can learn so much. And of course you can learn actively, for example stuff I was mentioning in section 2, see how they approach, how they react, etc. But I'm also talking about your subconscious learning ability. Your brain can absorb so much information by just watching. I have experienced this myself many times. After watching a big tournament or just one hype match and then start playing myself, it just feels like I'm playing a lot better. My fingers move faster and I'm much more aware of what's going on during the game. Maybe it's also just additional motivation for that moment, or maybe it's both, the additional hype and the subconscious learning. Either way, it helps a lot and can sometimes give you that additional boost you need if you feel like you hit a barrier and don't know how to improve anymore. Again, YouTube is a good source to find great matches and tournaments to watch, and I will leave some important channels in the description. But watching Smash live is a whole different experience and in my opinion also more fun. There are a lot of pro players streaming on twitch.tv regularly, as well as tournament stream channels that I would highly recommend following. And lastly, what you can do, especially if you feel like you are stuck and just don't improve, watch your own games. While watching, you see the game from a completely different perspective than while playing. During a match, you can oversee a lot of seemingly obvious mistakes you or your opponent make. Habits that you don't recognize while playing. Patterns of your playstyle that get punished over and over again without you realizing it. I myself sometimes facepalm in shame when I see the stupid stuff I'm doing in a game sometimes that at the time of playing seemed perfectly fine to me. So if you don't know why you lost a certain game or why you lose in general, watch it back and you may come up with solutions. Now, you have the option to save the replay of a match on your Wii U, but analyzing friendlies at home is much less effective than analyzing serious sets, tournament matches or money matches. So if you want to analyze yourself, try to get your friends to play some serious sets with you. Or when you are at a tournament, you can ask the owner of the console you were playing on to send you the replay afterwards. And of course, if you are good enough to play on a stream, you don't have to worry about that, you can just watch that one later. If you want to improve and really want to win, follow the steps I listed in this video and you will see improvement. Whether you are a student or have a job, no matter the age, if you spend enough of your free time on Smash, there are no limits on how far you can get. Set yourself goals and reach out for them. Be motivated, keep training, and as always, stay beefy.